The readings for the first Sunday of Advent admonish us to stay awake. They call us to be attentive to what is happening in our place and in our time. Today I am very conscious of the divisions that characterize our local and global communities. Recent events across our nation and our world reveal serious divisions within the family of God. Wars in the Middle East and the ongoing Palestinian-Jewish conflicts manifest our religious divisions. Large-scale immigrations reveals those people who must leave their homelands to seek peace and the recognition of their human equality and dignity. Diversity of race, nationality, culture have become terms of division rather than enrichment. Racism, sexism, nationalism, imperialism, capitalism divide the human community. Some individuals and groups, such as the Ku Klux Klan, claim superiority and dominance over others. A superiority and a dominance that's accredited to themselves because of their skin color, their gender, their economic status, or their nation of origin. Anti-Black bigotry and hatred against our Hispanic American and Native American brothers and sisters has been made plain in our recent election policy processes, as each candidate accuses the other of bias or bigotry. It's all around us. Human division, bigotry, and hatred contradict the will and the way of God. The readings for the first Sunday of Advent calls us to walk in the light, calls us to wake up and see what's going on around us, to recognize how we are living false lives, lives that divide us against one another, rather than unite us as we marvel at the diversity and the gifts of those who are different from ourselves. We are called to embody God's universal, unconditional love. We are called to reflect that triune God that we speak about in our Roman Catholic tradition, where each person is distinct but constitute one God. That diversity is supposed to be a source of enrichment, where I look to my brother and sister and recognize his gift, her gift, their reflection of God dwelling within them. And I celebrate them and thank them and engage them and relate to them as the human gifts that they are, rather than to reject them because they look different than me, or walk different than me, or talk different than I myself. Diversity is to be celebrated because it reflects the vastness, the complexity of the God of Jesus Christ, who we say we follow. We are called to be one as God is one. The terms of that oneness is that universal, unconditional love. Only when we love, only when we see God in one another, can we really be called the family of God. We are called to stay awake to the truth of who we are and whose we are. When we awake to our family identity, of our unity, We do so by expanding our circle of those we include when we say we love God and our neighbor. We need to stay awake and be attentive as we seek to construct and strengthen our patterns of relationships individually, nationally, and globally. We must not only recognize our brothers and sisters that we meet as part of the family of God, but we must recognize that members of our family live in other nations and in other cultures, and that they are not there for us to dominate and control, but they are there so that they can enrich us as we enrich them with our gifts as a nation. When we put on Jesus Christ, as the scriptures admonish us to do, it means to live in the way of Jesus. No one was stranger to Jesus. No one was estranged to Jesus. In fact, those who were marginalized in his time and in his place were the ones toward whom he gravitated. The Samaritan woman, the man born blind, the crippled man on the roadway. He did not walk past. He stopped. He listened. He responded. Put on the Lord Jesus Christ. As we see everyone as brother and sister, we grow in our peaceful relationships. Our families have quarrels. We have disagreements. But at the end of the day, we thank God for our brothers and sisters. We are called to thank God for all of our brothers and sisters and to grow in our peaceful relationships with one another. We have to throw off the darkness of the way of the world so that we can conduct ourselves in a proper way of love, not in promiscuity and lust, not in rivalry or jealousy, but in, I'll say it again, universal, unconditional love. A love that makes our concern for the other more important than our own well-being. After all, isn't that what Jesus did? As Christians, we are called to live deeply within the heart of God, deeply within the heart, the will, and the way of God as manifested through Jesus. We must stay awake to who we are as Christians, remaining attentive to and embodying God's will and way. When we get the hang of this, when we know what it is to be a follower or disciple of Jesus, and we know this because we live it, then we are free from fear. And we are free to rejoice in one another's presence. We are free to hold hands. And as the Psalms say, go rejoicing into the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing into the house of the Lord.